An example would be let's say I had a girlfriend and I'm a big Raiders fan. And so on Sunday, every week I'm watching the Raiders because the Raiders are dominating the NFL and they're winning by 20, 30 points every week. So this is a fictitious story, obviously. And I'm watching the Raiders every week, and she hates football.
Yeah.
So she goes out with her friends or shopping. But then one Sunday I wake up and I say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna watch football today. I'm gonna take her to brunch. So I text her at 10 o'clock and say, hey, let's have brunch today. And then, so I'm thinking about it. Okay, we'll go to this certain place. She likes Eggs Benedict. We'll get her Eggs Benedict. And then 10:30, she hasn't texted back. Okay, so I'm planning it in my head. Then 11, I still haven't heard from her. So okay, let me give her a call. So I call her, and it goes straight to voicemail. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Why does it go straight? It never goes straight to voicemail. I said, maybe she was calling when I called. Let me try again. Go straight to voicemail again. It's like, okay, why is that happening? What's going on? And so then 11:30 rolls around, still don't hear from her. Then it's like, oh, I wonder what's going on. How can she hear me? Then 12 o'clock come. Now it's about brunch time. Still haven't heard back from her. Then it started to think, I remember how she was looking at Eric that time when maybe Eric invited his place for Bible study.
Yeah.
The 12:30 rolls around. It's like, oh man, 1 o'clock. It's like, oh, I remember that barista put that little happy face on her cup. I wonder.
Right.
Then 2 o'clock comes. It's like, oh man, she better. Oh man, this is 2:30. Still haven't heard. It's like, okay, well, what's going on? Is she? So 3 o'clock, you finally get a text. Oh, I'm coming over. It's like, oh, okay, she's coming over. All right, we're gonna see what happens. So she comes over and she's like, hey, how you doing? How am I doing? How are you doing? Well, what was your day like? She said, oh yeah, I'm feeling great. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling really good. You feeling really good, huh? Well, why are you feeling really good? Who are you with? What do you mean, who was I with? Who are you with? What do you mean, who was I with? Who are you with today? I was with your sister and your mother. It's your sister's birthday, remember? We went to the spa. She asked you to go and you said you were busy, remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so sometimes we do that with God.
Yeah.
We come up with reasons. So we have our own plans. We make our own plans. We plan to do things, but we don't involve God in those plans. And then when those things don't come true, we start, God, where is God in this? Where is God? And so we didn't involve God in the plan, and we do. So then we start wondering. Then we start, coming up with reasons. Oh, is it because I did the wrong thing? Oh, is it because God doesn't love me? Oh, is it because... So we've come up with reasons, and so we don't want to come up with our own reasons, because when God is silent, we can come up with our own reasons as to why he's silent. And so when you're hurting and in pain, pain makes us think things that aren't true. It makes us believe things that aren't true. When we're in pain, it makes us say things that aren't true. So there was a story of this telegraph operator. You guys know what a telegraph is? So telegraph is something they used to use to communicate. It was something that would go beep, 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 and it would send it across a wire. Before there were computers, before there were phones, they would just send like beep, 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 and it was signals that were coding words. So there were people who knew how to code words.
And wrote it down.
Yeah, and they would receive it, and they'd write it down. They'd interpret it. Somebody would take it written, and they'd code it, and the person on the other side would get the message, so they could send messages that way, telegraph. So there was a guy he was a good telegraph person, and he needed a job, and they were hiring at the big telegraph company. So he walked in, he was 20 minutes late he had all kind of issues that happened on the way there, so he was 20 minutes late. He walked in, he heard a telegraph going over the loudspeaker. He said, okay, I'm in the right place. And he saw the receptionist. He said, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm here for the telegraph position. And she said, oh, well, the president is interviewing people. She said, go sit over there. And he looked over there, and there were 4 other men already there. And as he walked up, he overheard them, and one of the men was complaining to the other guy. He's like, I can't believe it. A nice place like this, they have Starbucks coffee. He said, they should have Pete's. Pete's is so much better. Why do they have it Starbucks? Then he heard the other people, the guy was complaining. They said, well, how's he have us sitting out here for 30 minutes? Why are we sitting out here that long? We're just out here waiting. And he decides not to engage them, and he just sits there. So he's sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes, and then he gets up, and he walks into the president's office. And they see the president welcome him in and close the door. So then they're all complaining, what? He's the last one here. How did he get in? Why did he just walk in? How did he just walk in? That's rude. He shouldn't just walk in. And they were in there for 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, the president's laughing and, slapped the guy in the back, and he walks over to the other people. He's like, oh, thank you guys for coming out. He said, but I've already made the hire. So have a good evening. They're like, no, that's not fair. We were here first. You didn't even interview us. Why? We were here first. How come you didn't let us in? Yeah. He said, well, I sat in my office for 30 minutes, sending the telegraph over the loudspeaker, saying, whoever can understand this, come into my office. He said, I sat there for 30 minutes. Whoever can understand this, come into my office. He said, and none of you came in. He heard it. He came into the office. And so therefore, that's why he got in. So there may be... So we don't want to focus on the problems, the issues. We may be missing clear instructions. So the complaining and the whining can keep us from hearing from God. So we want to continue our quiet time even where we're in trouble. So when God is silent, we want to continue to listen. When God is silent, we don't want to focus on the storm. We want to focus on Jesus. We want to focus on hearing God. So you don't want to let your problems keep you from hearing. You don't want to let your pain keep you from hearing. You don't want to let your loneliness keep you from hearing. You don't want to let your fears keep you from hearing God, or your successes keep you from hearing God. You don't want to let your confusion keep you from hearing God, or your guilt keep you from hearing God. So don't let your problems or the silence distract you from hearing God.